Hello YouTube, welcome back to a brand new video. This is the America First Pill channel. So, quite the shocker today. Um, Lindsey Graham, the Senator of Lindsey Graham out of South Carolina, has shockingly passed away. And yeah, I'm going to kind of use the Christmas Carol quote when I think it was Jacob Marley died. Dead as a doornail. He's dead. I mean, out of left field dead, and it's leaving America, especially if you're a Republican and you follow Republican politics, particularly, which this was definitely a shocker. Whether you liked Graham or not, this was a shocker. No one expected this. We have another one that's out the door, almost out the door, it seems, and that's Mitch McConnell, and we know that at least is not unexpected, and there's some reports coming out that he's actually brain dead and the only thing keeping him alive is a machine, but the Republican establishment's not putting it out there because they don't want a special election. They want to hold that seat, so they can't appoint someone that won't vote for war, that won't be as committed to wars, and which is evil because this guy is a corpse, and what they're doing is just evil. What the people do for power, to use others for control for power, is just evil. But Graham was 71. I think was the age it was reported that he died. He was 71, and he definitely was still competent. He definitely seemed healthy. Then again, I've heard reports that he had some health problems we didn't know about that he used to struggle with. So maybe there's stuff we don't know. But he came back from Ukraine, and they said his death was of an illness. So maybe there's some more that's being disclosed. But this was a shocker, and because we don't know, get ready for more conspiracy theorists to want to find another thing to make clicks on. So that's just the world we live in now. These people live off conspiracies, and they're going to say that he was, you're already seeing it happen now, but I'm not going to talk about that right now. But this video is about Lindsey Graham's legacy. And I will say, I don't really, Lindsey Graham, I would say, was definitely not a likable person. And when it came to candidate, when it came to a representative. I know Democrats hate him because of, especially because he always votes with Trump on everything. But Republicans don't like him at all because he's such a hawkish guy, warmonger, and he grifts off Trump cringe worthy too that he did that. And so a guy that went from saying Trump, going so anti-Trump to suddenly being his cheerleader, it's like people clearly saw Graham as a grifter, and I believe he was. And he had his primary, and he won his primary for re-election. And, I was disappointed. I was really hoping he would lose, and he didn't. So I would say it's kind of sad that the only way it seems that we get rid of these swamp creatures is through them dying off from office. But the reality is, it's way too early to tell. Could this be a way we benefit off of? The Republicans appoint, could they have to appoint someone temporarily? Could we appoint someone based that, is good on the issues, that is not as hawkish, that's not so loyal to everywhere else but the United States? I don't know. I have a feeling they already have their guy installed, and I feel like because Trump has this habit of constantly endorsing people are going to vote for whoever Trump endorses. And so it's hard to say this is a win yet, but it's not a win. I'm not saying it's a win and saying that it's good that he died. Of course, I'm just clarifying myself. I'm saying a win in the sense, can we, now that he's gone, can we get someone better? It's hard to say, are we going to get any win out of it now? Use that to our advantage now. But this video is more focused on his legacy, and so I'm going to get into that now. So, what's his legacy? And I know he's been known even by Republicans. Even there's never been a war he didn't championship for. He was a big time warmonger. He seemed to love war, and you know it's easy to say, oh, he was an evil person. He just loved killing. And, personally, we don't know him personally, and I think politics a lot of times is just a big grift and virtue signal to his donors and to AIPAC, because he was a big AIPAC owned. AIPAC loved him, the Israel lobby. But, his statement it was a few months ago, several months ago now, that when he spoke of the Jewish Republican coalition, we knew he was virtue signaling, but still, he stood up there that we're killing, he said, quote unquote, we're lowering our taxes and killing all the right people. As if that's all he cares about. It's like, just what a horrible thing to say. Like I don't know, like it's like he loved this idea of killing your enemies, and it's like, and you kind of lost track. Who does he think the enemy is at this point? Is it Iran or whatever? I know he hates Iran. Okay, a lot of people do too. I do too. But he always just opened his mouth. Like every time he opened his mouth, he just made things worse. He makes Trump look terrible, makes the whole administration look like they're bloodthirsty killers. Because you have people like Graham, and there's many others than just Graham in the office still. Graham's just that, he's the symbol of that. And it's like the war thing is sad, and just the fact that he seemed to always talk about, let's spread democracy everywhere else, but like had never mentioned the United States at all, or even how it benefits us. I know Israel, he seemed more loyal to Israel than the United States. Like he even said on Fox News interview that, I'm gonna stand for Israel. Like, and that could easily win support, but it seemed like he's gonna pick Israel over us, and in a lot of ways he kind of has, because I think Trump and Graham aren't, I don't know if they're all eye to eye on a lot of things, but Graham has totally different interests. It seems to be more what Netanyahu wants in a lot of cases, the way he messages. So it's like, so what's so far, what do I have in his legacy? He was a warmonger. He loved war. And he seemed to be Israel first, and he wasn't America first. So yeah, because of that, he's not. So that's my legacy. That's his legacy that I have for Lindsey Graham. And I mean, he has proposed, I guess, okay policies. I mean, in some cases, you have to wonder, did he try to sabotage us half the time? Because it's like, sometimes he would promote policies that he knew he didn't have the votes for, but then he'd promote something ridiculous, and then he gives Dems ammo. So it's like, I feel like he was just not a serious person, and just someone who was just a career politician that would say anything for clicks and attention too. So, so that's kind of all I have for Lindsey Graham. Before I made this video, earlier this morning, I had a lot of unchristian thoughts that go through my head. I did not like that guy at all. I was upset when I heard he won his re-election. Like, it had to be rigged that people would vote for this guy still. You have to wonder, are all these elections is voting like an illusion sometimes, where it's like the WWE, it's everything staged. Okay, you go to the polling place, but then the day, really who gets elected was already installed in the begin with. You have to wonder. I mean, I know there's a lot of there's a lot of people that take shots at baby boomers, and I have a lot of problems with most of the generation, how they treat young people in a lot of cases, and just total disregard of changing anything. Boomers tend to be more willing to just keep things the same, it seems, a lot of times. But even Graham, I feel like boomers have to say we don't like Graham. But so, I'm sure a lot of them were the ones that voted, but I just feel like it has to be rigged too. It's like no one in South Carolina likes Graham if you look at the polling. So I don't know. This is weird, and again, expect the conspiracies to happen. That's what happens with these sudden things like this. People want their clicks. But this was, wow, definitely from left field. And I mean, I hope the guy confessed at the end of his life, but like, not really, he, just the way he kind of bullied us too, how he kind of, like the quote where he said that if you abandon Israel, God will abandon us, as if he was saying God would kill us if we don't back Israel. And really, he was being the Netanyahu government. So like, Graham was a really like a bully and corrupt, and just way he intimidate voters with his rhetoric. It just, I don't know. So like I said, I had a lot of pure thoughts when I heard about this. I'm like, but I'm like, here's my composure. Let's talk about this civilly. And then I think Graham doesn't have a good legacy, and that's where I stand. So I gave my legacy, and so with that, it says warmongery has committed is not America first, and if anything, he seemed more loyal to Israel. Can't really say he was a Christian. I don't even know if the guy was saved, and I have to say I'm not really confident he was. That's what's sad about it. That's what we should be sad for. Then again, that's God's call, but hope he repented. That's all I can say. Largely because of his murderous attitude, just his this killing spree he had. There was no peace at all from him to even promote peace. So again, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. I think now they have to appoint someone temporarily to fill that spot, and they say sometimes it's not the devil it's the devil versus what you don't know. Have they already installed someone that's just basically him on a different body and a different face? I don't know. So, it's hard to say. I'm not going to sit and pretend it's a win yet, because we don't even know who's going to replace him. And I know the establishment wants a warmonger there. They want I know Israel wants a pro-Israel person there. So it's hard to say. I at least want them to be less hawkish. That's all I want, is someone that's not bloodthirsty when it comes to war. Because if you think about it, Graham might have actually not been bad on some of the policies. Maybe he did have some policies I'm trying to think of policies he promoted that I could agree with. Didn't he say something about something with immigration? I forgot what it was already, but he promoted something kind of based I liked. But, again, I don't know if that was just a virtue signal or not. Because all politicians do is talk. They never actually do. So, I don't know. And I feel like his warmongery kind of overshadows everything. Because a lot of his policies would bring more immigration, because it causes refugee problems because of his policies. So I don't know. But anyway, that's all I have for Graham. I guess rest in peace is all I can really say. More to his family, that the relatives he has left here that has obviously lost somebody. But I don't have much to say about Graham, really. So sometimes I see him more as someone who was really trying to sabotage MAGA. And I feel like sometimes they've succeeded in that. So I don't know. Anyway, let me know what you think. What do you think about Lindsey Graham as a whole? And I don't know. Anyway, that's all I have. So again, if you like this video, please like, let me know down below. And if you like the channel, please subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. The America vs. Bill channel out.